except when actively eating or drinking while stationary. Clean your hands often and thoroughly. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, and maintain physical distancing. Thank you.
So, hello YouTube friends. We're back at Epcot. Epcot's my favorite park. And as you'll see, the fountain is still blocked off, but everything else is now open up. So, I don't think we've seen this before, where everything is just wide open. Plenty of walking room, planters. So now everything's split off. You either go over to Mission Space or over to Seas with Nemo. Here's a little sign telling us where we're going.
Let's go explore the big blue world!
Mr. Ray, we can't explore without Nemo!
I'm sure we'll see him any minute now.
Nemo!
Oh, science is great, there's so much to know. Climb aboard, explorers, it's time to go!
Nemo, what the hell that mean?
Oh, don't worry.
I'm Dory. I'm looking for my son.
Ooh, I can help! Oh, no!
It's Nemo!
Where?
I don't know where. That's why we're trying to find him.
Find who?
Oh. Nemo! Where are you, Nemo?
Who's Nemo?
He's my son. You know that.
I do.
We found a huge adventure together.
He's orange with white stripes and looks out smaller. Good. Mr. Smarty Pants.
Stop playing games!
Games? I love games. Ooh, I'm thinking of something pink and bouncy that looks like ooh.
Ah, jellyfish!
Right.
Clownfish, where are you? Swim over and say good day to your old pal Bruce. Fish and friends.
I'm gonna try!
Whoa! Check out the Vinnie Marlin. Whoa! Okay, little dudes, get ready to ride!
Waiting out there. explore
Not too far.
the big blue world I've never seen before.
Hey, what are you doing? Starfish can turn our stomachs inside out. How you choose your friends? I miss the excitement of the dentist's office. Hey, open wide.
Of all the forces at work on the land, humans have had one of the most profound effects. The need to produce food for a growing world led to the enormous use and sometimes overuse of the land. In our search for more efficient ways to grow food, we often fail to realize the impact of our methods. Welcome to our living laboratories, where scientists from Epcot and the U.S. Department of Agriculture are exploring innovative ways to produce bountiful harvests now and into the future. The tropics are home to the greatest diversity of plants on the planet. Many of these, like papaya, bananas, cacao, coffee, and rice, are well known around the world. These are just a few of the edible plants that have been an important source of nutrition for people living in the tropics. Many are rich in vitamins and minerals, while others are well adapted to growing in less than ideal conditions. Some, like the water lily, thrive in wet, swampy areas and waterways. All parts of this plant, even the flower petals, are edible. The starchy root of the plant has long been used to make flour for baking. One day, many of these lesser-known tropical plants may be as important as the bananas growing on both sides of the boat. More than 28 million tons of bananas are eaten annually, making it the most popular fruit in the world. Fish farming, or aquaculture, accounts for nearly half of all the seafood consumed globally. Tilapia, bass, and catfish, like the ones you see here, are three of the more popular crops raised by fish farmers. The sustainable system we're using here recycles the water in the tanks. As a result, we're able to save millions of gallons each year. Our small fish farm produces nearly 5,000 pounds of fish each year to serve in restaurants around Walt Disney World. Innovations like this one can play an important role in our efforts to produce bountiful harvests and still protect natural resources.
It's like they're following us. Come on, guys. Oh, gotta go back for the next boat.
Most of us are only familiar with the handful that make up our everyday diet. The common grains grown here, maize, sorghum, and millet, plus rice, account for nearly 2/3 of our global food consumption. Learning how to increase yields of these staples is an important goal of research around the world. These plants are definitely on their way up. Innovative growing techniques like these increase yields while more efficiently using resources like water, fertilizer, and pesticides. Another innovation at work here is our integrated pest management program. By populating our greenhouses with beneficial insects that prey on harmful pests, like aphids and flies, we are significantly reducing our reliance on conventional pesticides. We're growing these crops using our nutrient film system. This technique precisely controls and recycles water and nutrients. With it, we can produce over 27,000 heads of lettuce a year in this one small area. Some of our best ideas have been inspired by nature, like these fruit and vegetable trees. By growing these ground plants vertically, we can increase yields and better control diseases. These crops taste as good as they look. In fact, we serve more than 15 tons of produce from our greenhouses.
I like
in
that it's named a
restaurants here at the
Cinderella
Land
pumpkin.
every year.
Maybe because they're really round.
Or that it could be turned into a conveyance for Cinderella to get to the ball. That's going in the video.
The future of agriculture may include innovative ideas like this vertical growing system. Plants grown in this way use a fraction of the space required by traditional growing methods. That saves water and increases production. The aquaponics system on your left combines hydroponics with aquaculture. The fish provide a natural source of fertilizer for the plants, and the plants help keep the water clean for the fish. It's another great way to produce more while using less. In our lab, Epcot scientists are working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture on a number of innovative projects. The goal of these efforts is to produce higher yielding and better quality plants.
You keep your feet. Please be inside the boat. Those included. The gentleman in the white tennis shoes. Please keep your feet inside the boat. Gentleman in the white tennis shoes was just pointing at the fish. Please keep your feet inside the boat.
Construction update. Actually, I'm just playing. There's really no construction update. Construction has started back up though, so this will be taken down sometime soon. But they're just ramping back up. Construction's been back at it now for about 2 weeks. So here we're coming up on some booths that aren't opened yet. So we're kind of in the first, I guess, kind of first half of food and wine. Really, basically, what this is, what we're in right now, is the finishing up flower and garden, and all the food that was associated with that, and then they'll like full on move into the food and wine. But it's just all a blend right now. But there are some food booths that have yet to open. Alright, so I think we're going to start our food journey with the citrus blossom, because the I'm always down for a lobster tail, and later on I'm gonna get, there's a lobster mac and cheese I'm gonna get, but I think I'm gonna start with the lobster tail here and the crispy citrus chicken. Give that a try. Okay, so here's what we're dealing with from the citrus booth. So we have a lobster tail with lemon aioli, and then we have the crispy chicken, citrus crispy chicken, and then what was the slushy again? It's
Orange wine slushy.
Orange wine slushy. It looks super refreshing. Okay, so here's my opinion of the citrus blossom. We're still at the table, so I've still got my mask off. The crispy chicken, really good. It was a good pairing with the lemon aioli that was on it. Nothing spectacular. It was good, but if you're coming out for the festival, a piece of tender, well-cooked crispy chicken. If you're a big chicken fan, then absolutely go for it. I think there's a lot of other things that are more worth your stomach space than that. The other was the lobster tail with the lemon aioli. Now that was really, really good. The lobster was well cooked. It was tender. That lemon aioli went really, really well with it. And the other thing was the slushy. Tell me again the name of what it was.
Orange wine slushy.
Orange wine slushy.
For the health and safety of
that
everyone,
was really
please wear a
good.
face covering
If
at all
nothing
times,
else,
except when
you
actively
should stop
eating
by
or
and get one of
drinking
the
while stationary.
slushies
Wash your
from
hands
the
often
Orange
and
Blossom
thoroughly.
because they are
Cover your
really
mouth
good.
and nose
Really
when
good.
coughing.
Alright, so now we're coming back to the World Showplace. So they've got some more food in here. We're going to check that out. Alright, the next thing I'm going to hit is definitely this mac and cheese. They have several different ones. Just a plain gourmet mac and cheese, buffalo chicken, and then of course I'm going to get the lobster mac and cheese. Okay, so this is the lobster mac and cheese. Looks really rich and creamy. Can't wait to dive into this one. Well, it says festival favorites, so maybe this is the festival favorites. Kielbasa and potato pierogi, seafood fisherman's pie, spanakopita. All sounds really good.
All right, so while Greg was enjoying his lobster mac and cheese, I went and got the Polish kielbasa with a potato pierogi that comes with sour cream drizzle and caramelized onions, and my absolute favorite, the Guinness milkshake.
All right, so we just finished at the World Showplace, and there's a lot of food in here. There's mac and cheese, there's the apple seed orchard, desserts and champagne, festival favorites, and I had to look around to get all those names right. But I went with mac and cheese, and I had the lobster mac and cheese. So let me talk about the mac and cheese first. Very well cooked, very creamy. It was a really good mac and cheese. The lobster in it, while it was well cooked, and I like the sauce that it was in as well, there wasn't a lot of lobster. I've seen some people come out before now and just had tremendous amounts of lobster. I mean, like whole knuckles of lobster. So in my mind, that's what I came out. I thought I was going to be good. That's what I was all set for. While there was a decent amount of lobster in there, I think that the crowds have increased a little bit. So maybe they're dialing back the amount of lobster they're putting in. So, but overall, it was really good. I really enjoyed it, but just wasn't quite as much lobster as I had hoped for.
So I had the pierogies with the Polish kielbasa and caramelized onions. It was very good. It's at the Festival Favorites, which is things that they've had in the past. I don't remember it ever being here, but if it had been, I definitely would have eaten it. It was fantastic. The only thing I did not completely enjoy was the caramelized onions. They seemed a little overcooked. I like them a little crunchier, so they should have cooked them more or a little less. I also had the Bailey's Guinness Shake, which is always one of my favorites, and it's creamy and delicious. A little heavy on a hot day, so I might not be having another drink soon, but definitely worth it if you want something that tastes like a milkshake.
All right, we've officially hit Seafood Bonanza. We are in the American Pavilion. I can't remember what the booth is called. What's the booth called? I can't remember what it's called, but it's the booth at the American Pavilion. So we're going to start with this lobster roll. Now, I've had this lobster roll many times, and it's a really good lobster. Hopefully, this is going to be the same, but in the past, it's been a really good lobster roll. And as you can see, there's a lot of lobster on this thing, so really looking forward to digging into that. And here we have a seafood boil. It's got some corn and some shrimp, some mussels, some butter down in there for it all. And then we're going to finish that up with a carrot cake with cream cheese icing all over the top. Looks really good. I wanted to show you how ooey gooey and moist this thing is. Look at that. It is so good. Like, this may be the best thing here. May possibly be the best thing here. It's so good. Alright, so the American Pavilion. So let's talk about the lobster roll first. So a lot of lobster, really cooked well. It tastes great. The toasted bun, everything just fantastic taste. They have it's a kind of a light mayo they have in there. They added some butter on the side. Just really good. I've had a lot of lobster rolls, and this for a theme park and a festival type item is better than some lobster rolls that I've had in restaurants, so that's saying something. So it was really good. Now the second thing that I had was the carrot cake with the cream cheese icing, and it was fantastic. That might be the best item here so far that I've had so far, because it's really, really delicious. Just fluffy and moist and decadent, and that cream cheese icing is just really fantastic. Now, one thing that I think we noticed, it almost seemed like it had some pineapple in it. I'm not sure exactly what it was in it, but it kind of had the texture and taste of pineapple a little bit. But all in all, to me, it was a fantastic dessert. I would eat 10 of those if I could.
Okay, so I had the seafood boil, and it has crawfish, shrimp, sausage, potatoes, corn, and mussels. Greg ate all my shrimp because I'm not overly fond of shrimp. So how were the shrimp?
Oh, the shrimp were good.
Okay, the shrimp were good.
The shrimp were good. I mean, just simple. They were well cooked. Had a little bit of seasoning. It was more from that the boil liquid. It was good shrimp.
Now, I love a seafood boil, and the only complaint about this is if you didn't know what a seafood boil was, I would think that you would thoroughly enjoy it. It's a very large portion. You get a lot of everything, but I ate the whole thing. My lips aren't numb. I'm not crying. Very little spice. And I understand Disney has to cater to the masses, so it might not be as spicy as some things, but that was my only letdown. Overall, everything was cooked well and it was delicious. I also had the carrot cake, and Greg says it's the best dessert. I don't know about that. I think I'll find a better dessert somewhere else.
It's probably the best dessert during that we've had so far at the festival.
We'll agree to disagree.
We are going to agree to disagree on that one because it was fantastic. So good. But, okay, moving on to the next. Okay, so I kept saying the American Pavilion. It's actually called Hops and Barley is the food stand. So here's the menu. Lobster roll, for me, fantastic. Southern bowl. The shrimp were good. Jody was like, could have been, a little bit more spice to it, but it had decent flavor. And that carrot cake, let me just tell you. Alright, so we had to take a break for some beverages. So we're starting with the Joffrey's drink here, which is, I think it's a Joffrey special right now.
It is. It is a frozen lemonade vodka with pineapple rum at the Joffrey's between the America Pavilion and Italy.
Alright, so this, and I'm horrible with menus. So this is at the Regal Eagle Smokehouse bar that they have outside. I'll show you real quick. It is literally off to the side. So there's the smokehouse. That's where you go in, for the sit-down barbecue restaurant. It's kind of actually a quick service, but all the same. And then right off to the side, they have some quick service bar area, and they have cocktails and beer. And I had to give it a try. So what we're having here, this is the Moonshine Sour. I'll have to go back and look and see what all is in it, but I know it has blackberry moonshine. Got some blackberries on top, so we're gonna give it a try and see how it tastes.
Please wear a face covering at all times, except when actively eating or drinking while stationary. Wash your hands often and thoroughly. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, and maintain physical distancing. Thank you for your cooperation.
The Joffrey's pineapple rum drink is delicious. It's a little sweet. I actually did prefer Greg's blackberry moonshine drink, but definitely cool. It comes as a slushie, but in this heat it melted pretty quick. Other than that, though, sitting in the shade, listening to the mariachi band, drinking my pineapple fruity drink, definitely a good day.
Whatever the name of this drink is, the official name is Moonshine Sour. It is really good. It's blackberry moonshine. It's got blackberries in there. I don't know what else it's got, but it is really, really tasty. It's really refreshing. On a hot day, the alcohol is not overpowering, but it's in there. It's just it's really refreshing and pretty darn tasty. we were just coming over to Mouse Gear and noticed that there were some topiaries left over from Flower and Garden. Thumper and Bambi, and I can't remember the little skunk. But what's so cool is that I remember this because I was able to come out to Flower and Garden just before closure for the shutdown, and it wasn't nearly this grown over, which it's kind of cool if you really think about it, being that it's Bambi, and it almost literally looks like they're in the forest. Some really, really pretty scenery, some pretty topiaries here. Alright, so that's going to do it for us today at Epcot. So, really good day. Rode some rides, had some really good food, saw some characters. The character cavalcades were out. One thing I want to point out, if you're in any of the parks, especially Epcot, I mean, obviously we were in Epcot today, but all of the areas usually have their own background music. So when you hear some different music kick in and it's loud, more than likely it's going to be a character cavalcade about to come your way. So today we saw Anna and Elsa's cavalcade, we saw the princesses come through, and then we saw Mickey and Minnie with Pluto and Goofy. So very cool stuff. But yeah, it was a good day at Epcot, my favorite park. Always love hanging out there. So hopefully we'll get to go back soon and we'll get to bring you along. I hope you enjoyed watching. So we'll see you later.
As the day fades and dusk turns to night, Epcot comes to life in a global celebration of Disney music. Where the magic of possibility awaits.